Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign happening once again every Monday night right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and this is episode 25. I gotta make sure I say that. It makes it easier when I'm uploading the episodes later. Looks like right off the bat, we've got a subscription, a resub from Chestic Student, so I'm going to adjust the domain dice here in a moment once we get going. We are back to the domain dragons. Speaking of domain dice, you can see in the scroll down below that domain dice are your way that you can help influence the game through tips or through bits, 500 bits or a $5 tip. You can purchase domain dice that allow us to do things like re-rolling a d20 roll, making the DM re-roll, or other cool things, all the way up to the Patron's Blessing. 5 domain dice allows us to turn any hit into a super crit, which is a 2 times max damage double crit. And that's going to be another domain dice thanks to Star 19 resubbing. I'm expecting a few of those as people come in and re-up their subs, because it's been over a month since we've been on, and the subscriptions on Twitch only last a month. This is your opportunity to check, use your Twitch Prime or your Tier 1 subscription, however you want to do that. Check it out. At the very least, make sure you're following us on Mini Terrain Domain so you can see when our shows go live, because we've got this show on Monday nights. We've got our Sunday night Jolt of Personality that we are expecting to return next Sunday night. We've got on Thursday night, we return with Season 3, Episode 0 of The Dawnbringers, The Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And then later this fall, on alternating Tuesdays, there will be what is right now it is called Whispers of Destiny. It will be a beginners and essentials kit combination campaign that I'll be running right here with some new players. Actually, I think this is the only campaign I'm running where all 5 of my players are not in any of the other games that I'm running. Which is very unusual. I tried to get Megan, but she's got something going on that night, because it'll seem weird not having Megan in. And of course, speaking of Megan, getting in with that sneaky resub to earn another domain die. We do what we can to push things in our favor. Just a couple more real quick announcements. Number 2 on that list. Well, I'm just going to lump these all in. The big thing is, if you look down below here on Twitch, down below the video stream here, you'll see a number of banners for ways that you can donate. There's Amazon wishlist, Patreon support, all the social medias, all that stuff. Thank you, Wandering Disciple. But most important in those lists of banners is our partner, also down in below, Jasper's Game Day, a wonderful charity organization dedicated to trying to raise awareness and eliminate teen suicide and suicide in general through gaming. We've partnered with them on what I hope will be a permanent basis. And if you click that link or type Jasper in the chat, which Chestic Student, our moderator, has already done, thank you, you will see that you will have a direct link to donate to Jasper's Game Day, with all that money going to help fund crisis centers around the country. Another thing that we have that's very important is that you can type at any time, you can type !help in the chat. If you find yourself feeling lost, lonely, not sure who to turn to, and you need somebody to talk to, we urge you to please go type in help, or look in the scroll down below and you will see the number for the National Suicide Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255, or you can text 741-741. And I highly recommend, if you find yourself in need of somebody to talk to, call that number. Trained professionals are standing by. Also, down in the banner below, you'll see an icon for Initiative Coffee Company, a partnership between MTD and Initiative Coffee Company. We have created Metade Roast Coffee, a Brazilian and Peruvian medium roast. For every 12-ounce bag you purchase, $3 goes to benefit Jasper's Game Day. And Armad has already thrown the link to that in the chat as well. You know what? I think that's all I got for announcements. I'm going to turn this show over to Mike while I go ahead and start piling up and giving us credit for all these domain dice you lovely subscribers are flushing us with, so we will hopefully put those to good use. So, show's yours, Mike.
Right on. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to what it seems to be, 25 Mondays. Put that into perspective. 25 Mondays. That's, man, that is just wonderful. Also, hang on a second. It does not count if the players are resubscribing in order to get. No, I don't
Yep.
buy that.
Yep.
I don't.
We established that precedent a long time ago.
Dang it. Must have been on the Thursday game.
You know, you can do that in the game you play in too.
I just might do that. Yeah.
Megan's done it. Megan's done it for 15 months in a row. So
Clever.
That's 15
All
domain dice.
That is very true. So, before we dive back in, and I do my best, as they can now domain dice me to death, try and kill my players. Before we do that, let's have a recap. Now, you know what? Would anyone like to do the recap? Not for a point of inspiration, because you have all the inspiration right there. So maybe for you being an awesome person. Oh, I see. There's no reward attached to it. Suddenly it's like, maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. All right,
I can recap the fever chills I was having during last session if you want.
No, that's okay. I can only imagine that. That was probably a bad scenario. So I will. In the last session, the players had a few decisions to make. They had spoken with Mert in 2 sessions ago, and they had found some very interesting things about the Stone of Golor and who exactly is trying to possibly manipulate them. Or maybe they're being manipulated. Who knows? But they started the episode off with wanting to get the Nobody's Inn ready for the upcoming wine festival, and with that, needed to spend some money. Of course, now Bevyn was tasked with going to meet some contractors, go do some shopping, and that was the last we heard of him. Unsurprisingly, because he wasn't there, and let's be honest, Jake was kind of wussing out. I was hoping he was going to do like 2 accents at once, but he didn't.
I tried.
You tried.
It never works out well.
You did. It was the most Irish Antonio Banderas I have ever heard, and you know what? It was fire.
I can only do Bevyn's accent when he's here, when Dwight is here, and I do it accidentally.
Well, there you go. So after that, they realized that, hey, there's some other things that we could try and get sorted out. One of the things was talking to Mert and seeing what else they could do for the Harpers. Given that Mert has realized that perhaps getting people involved in the business would be okay, he asked them to meet him at the yawning portal, where he gave them a tasking. This tasking, of course, was to speak with a member of the staff, and who I believe her name is Holly, although I could be mistaken. I think it was Holly. Was it Holly? I know it starts with an H, and that's I know.
I might have written it down in my 6 notes.
Well, I hope so. That'd be great. But no, it is not Holly.
It's Bonnie.
Bonnie. There you go. Hey, good catch.
I take notes.
I take notes. Oh yeah, notes. So they have learned that Bonnie, the barmaid for the Yarning Portal, is a doppelganger, and she is not alone. There are quite a few individuals with her, a gang of doppelgangers. And the party has been tasked to try and find out more about them. Are they trustworthy? Can they be incorporated into the gang? What are they going to do? And upon speaking with Bonnie, who seemed very excited at the prospect of joining the Harpers, she had said that it would take her a couple of days to get everyone together, and then, well, we can turn this party into HR management. You guys can sit down and have an interview with them. But it was going to take 2 days. And we had ended the session with the party, not surprisingly, eating something fantastic. I'm pretty sure it was something fantastic. And everyone was hungry afterwards. It was great. Probably should have watched the end of that. Probably has something to do with like chestnuts and truffles and roast and deliciousness. So, since we're caught up, I'm going to go ahead and give myself 173 points of inspiration, which I'm probably going to use because I'm the DM.
If it makes you feel better, Mike, I am working on a new system for DM domain dice.
No,
I am.
No, that's a horrible. That would be a horrible.
No, because
thing.
The audience has been requesting it.
Oh, have they?
Yes, in several of our games. Also, real quick, since I'm interrupting you, I did forget to mention one thing at the beginning. If you look down in the lower right on the overlay, and I mentioned in the chat, if you mouse over on your computer over our whole screen here on the overlay, you will see the D&D Beyond character sheets. You'll see little icons on the left side of the screen for each of our characters. You can click them at any time and get a pop-out look at our character sheet. And if you click that, I think if you click the name or something like that, it'll actually take you to the full character sheet on D&D Beyond that you can view. We are not sponsored by D&D Beyond, but we are powered by D&D Beyond, as they have made Mini Terrain Domain an insider and given us full access to their suite of tools, and we thank them for that. Now I turn it back over to Mike and his supposed 100 domain dice.
Oh, no. I just have 173 points of inspiration.
Oh.
Yeah, which I can use at any time and do anything, and all of my dice now are nat 20s. But anyway, if there are no other questions, let us begin. So, as you have finished eating, had your ale, Bonnie actually ended up speaking with Durnan and picks up the tab for you guys, and you don't even have to pay. So that was, it was really nice of her, because she's really keen to start and possibly even become a member of the Harpers. Unless there is anything within the Yawning Portal that you wish to, like anyone you wish to speak to, or anyone, anything you need to do, the day is yours. The time now, it's approximately early afternoon. It's around probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I think that Anna would just look around quickly try to be as sneaky about it as possible, but I think she would look to see if there's any Zentaro members just hanging around, because she knew from the last time that they were here that there were, but that was kind of before there was a bunch of arrests. So she would just kind of note them, or note that if there were any.
Well, and that's
John.
that's a fair bit. I tell you what. Make me an investigation check, but with disadvantage, as it's kind of a lunch rush right now. So there's a lot of different people. Some look dodgy, some don't.
Okay. That is an 11.
11. There's a lot of people. You see people you see a few people from as far away as Charlton. Some what looks to be some elvish merchants in regalia that kind of signifies them as from as far east as the Dales. Many people come from across Faerun to check out to just like experience the wonders of Waterdeep and the Sword Coast. You don't see anyone that may even looks even remotely possibly close.
Okay. Yeah, she would just keep that to herself. She wouldn't say anything.
All right. Well, if we're all finished here, I think we should probably go check on Bevyn and whatever he's doing at the inn, right? I wonder how much he spent. He's pretty frugal, isn't he?
That is a bit of an understatement. We like to say that when Bevyn hands over copper pieces or gold pieces, you can see fingerprints in them from him pinching them so hard. Well, I like to say that just now.
Just now. Then we should definitely go check on it, because I know those clients were supposed to be pretty high-end, right?
Well, it is a pretty prestigious event.
And they have expectations.
Oh, yes. And you don't think Bevyn is up to the task. I agree.
I don't know. I guess so.
Anna would scowl at 6.
Well, is he, Anna? I mean, I don't know.
That is great. He's amazing at that kind of stuff. Who do you think would be better? You? I don't think so.
You know he can't hear you, right? You don't have to suck up to him. He's out of earshot.
I don't know that for sure, because let's just say there was an incident and I got my hands burned, literally. It wasn't very, very good. So, Bevyn's great.
That sounds like a story I want to hear. But we should probably go.
Yes, let us go and relieve Mr. Bevyn of his torturous picking out draperies and paintings and carpets. I'm sure he's enjoying that so much.
Once you put it that way, Six, I feel like you would be a good choice for putting that kind of stuff together.
Oh, you should see the outfit I put together for the opera. It was amazing.
I'd love to see it, but let's get out of here.
So as you leave, we're actually going to zip over to Bevyn, who is sitting in the tavern, at the Nobody's Inn, having a pint. Let's go over all the different things that you went to, Bevyn. You went to pick up kind of basically just like nicer furnishings to put up. You went to go see a drapery to get like better curtains. You went to see a few other places that specialize in, just making the place, making your home or your business kind of look their finest. Perhaps, I'm not sure, maybe if you have, but you could have. I'm not sure, because you could have upgraded the furniture, because basically everything would have costed you a grand total of, I believe it was 500 gold pieces, to kind of spruce the place up and make it look nicer. And it was all getting delivered. Would you at any point in time would have tried to haggle for that price?
Yes.
You're like, duh. Okay, so how would you have haggled? Would you have been kind of like intimidating? Would you be like kind of threatening, or would you try to be a little bit more persuasive?
No, it would be more of a persuasive talk. Hey, man, I'd really love to buy this from you here, but it's
Gotcha.
We both know that this isn't the right price, and let's get out of here with we're both a little bit unhappy, and we know we made a good deal.
Okay, gotcha. So, what I'm going to need you to do is, because you basically went to like 3 different places to pick up 3 different things, and whatever those things are is entirely up to you. If you wanted new seats, new benches, new whatnot have you, you go for it. But I'll need you to make 3 persuasion rolls.
Domain die. Persuasion. There's a 10. I'll leave that one. Domain die. I'm gonna use them up. 19 and 4.
Oh, not another domain die?
No, I'll leave it.
We've got 18 of them, man.
All right, Jake said so. Domain die. 14.
All right. Okay. All right. So, the first one, speaking with one of the merchants, they basically are like, we all work really hard on what we make, and if you want this and it's really quite nice, you're going to pay it full price. So that unfortunately doesn't quite work out for you.
Fair enough.
With the 19, you managed to talk a good game, and they knock 50 gold off of the price. So that's what you get back on that. And with a 14, you talk an okay game. They knock 25 off, and that's pretty much what you gain back. So all in, your 500 gold is now 425. So you saved 75 Gs, which is more than what most people in Waterdeep see in pretty much their lifetime. So good on you.
Okay.
And they basically start to bring everything in, as the other 3 are basically on their way back. What is it they bring in?
So I will have upgraded the tables from what I would imagine was mostly like your bench style, farm tables with the benches. We'll move more towards a between 4 and 6 person tables with chairs, with some handcrafted chairs that have a little bit of upholstery on the back, and new draperies where the colors from the draperies match the upholstery on the chairs. And I will have picked out some artwork and wall sconces, upgraded the wall sconces. Again, kind of figure I look at this kind of maybe like a dark blue, like a dark blue and silver motif, where maybe a little bit of gray mixed in. So we got silver sconces with some silver, some silverish frames for the artwork, and then the dark blue draperies and upholstery with some silver mixed in, silver filigree on the mixed in around. So yeah,
like it, and does not take doesn't take long for everyone to set up. A bunch of folks, or a bunch of the staff in the Nobody's Inn, they begin to help put everything up, along with the people that actually delivered it. The part of the fee, they also kind of put everything up, and it looks like you've raided a Pier 1 Imports store. It all looks, kind of nice without being like gaudy. It's very, very classy. And sure enough, as the last bit is put up, the three of you go walking through the door, and exactly what Bevyn has described is what you see.
That's my immediate cat reaction as I sneeze.
There's some dust in the air.
That is accurate.
I'm a little disappointed that it does not match my tuxedo, but with some adjustments, I can match my outfit to this decor.
I bet the clients will be super pleased with this. These are some great choices, and I think Asche would be like going over to some of the curtains, kind of feeling the upholstery very clearly a little bit like, ooh, it's so nice.
Well, I did my best.
I almost feel like I wouldn't be allowed in here if I didn't partially own the place.
I mean, it depends on how dirty we are. Depends. If we came right out of the sewer, probably not.
That was good. That got me pretty good.
Anna, you're very quiet. What do you think of the decor?
It's fine. It's fabric. It's great. It's fabric.
Anna did not think you were very capable of doing this, Bevyn. But I told her, if there's anybody that's going to be able to do this, it's you.
Nice.
I believe the term you used was ass kisser, and I don't think that it was used correctly. I think it should be used more towards you now.
Oh, she got you 6.
That's why I like you, Anna. You are so quick to return my jabs. Not afraid to stick me in the heart.
So when's the party? I know some guy came in, yesterday or the day before? I don't quite remember when the whole shindig is supposed to go down.
Quick DM intrusion. So 2 sessions ago, Hammond Craddock, the guild master for the Vintners, Distillers, and Brewers Guild, came in at the behest of the nobles that put this wine festival on, and had went to look at this place that is supposed to hold this very prestigious event. After being snide, very snide, because he's a snarky person, he had mentioned that he was going to come back today to find out what the hay is going on, and whether or not you're going to do this and kind of make everything look decent. So that's it. Okay, carry on. That was my director's commentary.
I'm not sure the dates of the party, but what's it What's his ass is going to be back later today to check the place over.
All right. Well, I'm sure he'll certainly like what he sees. And I don't. No, Bevyn, you were there when we found out that the stone was actually a fake. We don't know where the real one is.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's so frustrating. By the way, we did meet like a bunch of doppelgangers that we were just at. Oh shoot, what is it? Who's the end?
The Yawning Portal.
The Yawning Portal.
Yes. A good friend of mine. I went to see about getting us some work. And he directed us to the Yawning Portal where we talked to a lovely, I'm going to say young woman, because that is how she is presenting at the moment. But she's a doppelganger. They are she is one of a group of, don't have the number. They're friends of mine, 3 strings. They're friends of his, and I'm vetting them for inclusion into our organization. And there's a little bit of coin to be made.
I tried to convince them to do a life or death battle, but they didn't want to do that. So we're just going to follow them.
Yeah, I don't think we should fight a group of doppelgangers that could turn into like anything.
Oh, no. They would fight each other, and then we would watch, and the survivor could join the hoppers. I think that's a great idea.
That would be cool. Ooh, I wonder, can doppelgangers turn into like chimeras and be little different parts? Because if that's the case, I would watch that.
Right? We could sell tickets, and we would make a profit. I don't see what is wrong with this idea.
So long as it's not against their will and they got to get some profits too, right? I mean, they're still people in their way.
I lean over to Bevyn. I don't think I'm the craziest one here anymore.
I just kind of reach over and I'll pat you on the shoulder.
But Anna, I wonder, I know it was like, what, me and Six went there first? I'm just kind of curious, where did you happen to go? I think while Six and I were puttering around.
Right, well, I just went a little bit of here, a little bit of there. They have a really, really nice fish market. They throw the fish up in the air and they even juggle them. It's fantastic.
Juggle them.
Mm-hmm.
They're all slimy. No, thank you.
Well, I'd never want to do it, but it was kind of amusing. Until he dropped it. Then it was hilarious.
Then it's gross. Asche doesn't like fish.
I was going to insight you, but I got a 5.
You're too distracted by the fish.
Does not like fish. That's her flaw now. She doesn't like fish. That's a part of it.
All right, that's fair. Sure enough, as you're speaking about fish, Helmand says, "Oh yes, I have some fish here," and he comes out with a plate of what looks to be like kind of pan-fried trout.
Oh, does it still have a head?
It does.
Oh,
So
that's the worst.
Pan-fried trout with a little bit of, well, it seems to be, it smells like it's been like cooked in like really dark beer, with a bit of like lemon and some other bits, and served with a kind of fresh plate of chips.
Oh, right, but can you juggle them though?
Why would anybody juggle a fish? I don't understand.
I am a chef, not a jester. Here, please, eat.
Here, fish, you can fish. I meant Six. You can take mine.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming up.
I only had one hard cider. That's it.
Are you sure? How hard was this cider?
Not hard. I have
Guys,
water. Hydrating.
Fair.
The weird part is I knew exactly who you meant.
I'm so glad he got it.
I think Fish is on. Six is already reaching for your plate, like brushing.
Fantastic.
I'm brushing the chips off of my plate onto yours and swapping out for your fish.
Thank you. Yes, I'll definitely dig into those. Have at it.
I like fish anytime I don't have to go near the water to get it.
Fantastic.
So-
Yeah, no water.
So
Uh,
I have to ask this question just because it's been so long since we played, and my notes are sparse because I take notes like Six would take notes. Were we just supposed to watch the doppelgangers, like,
no, you were,
or did we have something we were supposed to do?
So you were supposed to. You're going to be interviewing them in 2 days.
That's right.
Once Bonnie gets the whole crew together.
That's right. Bonnie was getting the crew. Oh, I have that.
Yes.
I
And,
literally have that very thing.
And
I
she
guess I
said-
take notes better than I thought. I'm
There
sorry.
you go. And she said she'll meet you in 2 days at the Nobody's Inn because you had suggested going there, and so she was
Excellent.
ready to go.
Excellent. I just wanted to make sure we weren't forgetting something.
So as you're swapping plates of fish and chips, you hear a noise outside. It sounds like a voice, and it's a very familiar voice, one that probably grates on Bevyn, but I guess maybe everyone else is fine with it. But you just hear, "Come, Ginny," and stepping through the door is a familiar sight. It is Hammond Craddock with his faithful note taker, chronicler, Ginny, the young tiefling woman. Hammond is in a what looks to be a fur, kind of like a fur collared jacket, as it is getting a little bit chilly out there. Even around like this time in the afternoon, he wears what looks to be kind of his signature tricorn hat with the feather. As he walks his way down, you can hear his cane rapping on the wooden boards. So, have you made a decision? Interesting. Hardly believe that this is the same establishment I came into not 24 hours before. Impressive.
Hopefully. Yes. Oh, I'm glad it's such an improvement. Bevyn actually put all of this together.
He gives you the up and down, like he's definitely measuring you. Well, I did not think that you would have that sort of taste. But it's good. Belford Blue. Very nice. So, I take it by your, determination that we are going to allow this festival to happen in your establishment.
Well, more or less, just thought we'd do a remodel.
Oh, well then, I couldn't look for other venues then, if you'd wish.
No,
Are you really that smarmy of an ass? Yes.
Good.
You told us to do the place over. We did the place over.
And it looks wonderful, and I'm very impressed. It looks almost regal. So, if you wish to continue on, there is one thing that I do wish you to do, and that is quite simply this. Tomorrow, at midday, you will need to go down to the south gate, and you are going to meet up with the sommelier, an interesting little fellow who will be taste testing the wine. He is a judge. We've always brought him in from out east for many years now. Fine young fellow. Just bring him, host him in your place of business. I'm sure that you have a spare room upstairs or something. You just stay there for 2 days. Then the festival will happen in 3 days' time. So, if that isn't too much trouble. Of course, the day of, the guards that will be guarding the winnings will wish to inspect your safe to ensure that it is safe. After all, 500 platinum pieces is nothing to shake your head at. And we don't want it stolen. You can understand, of course.
That's quite kind of you. I'm surprised that is this supposed to be like a prize, basically, if you have the best place?
Yes, every year anyone who wishes to enter puts in a fee. This year we have quite a few members, actually. We even have someone who's not from the Sword Coast, but he did pay enough, calls himself a amateur professional vintner of sorts, or some sort of nonsense, a businessman. Comes all the way from Baragost, if memory serves me correctly. Yes, a charming charming little city, I assume. But anyway, yes, he is going to be here as well, and all in all, Sommelier will come around and taste test, and then everyone else will be drinking wine and speaking in that way that nobles speak so well. So, 3 days. Well, tomorrow, midday, meet the sommelier. Take them upstairs, let them settle in, let them stay. The day of, you get the idea. Everything should be fine.
All right.
Are there any questions? Yes, I'm done now.
I don't want to look at Anna for a moment, since Bevyn's engaged with Hammond, and say, what are we holding the platinum, and what's going on? Why would a guard need to come check your guys' safe? Doesn't that seem a little unusual, or am I misunderstanding this guy?
He just wants to make sure we don't nip it, or anyone else does, for that matter. But I don't know. Can you trust these guards? Do you trust them?
Not really, but I guess I misunderstood. I was like, if we win and that platinum's ours, why do they need to know how safe our bank is?
No, we're just. Right? I think we're just holding the wine contest. We're not in it, right? We're not winning anything. I don't think.
I speak up through a mouthful of fish. I've just been stuffing my face this whole time. We're hosting the event. We bought the safe specifically to have the money, or rather to have the place to put the monies. And then he said, hey, if you want to host the place, you got to spend more money. But supposedly there are going to be a lot of rich nobles in here, and they're going to spend their money on our own drinks and whatnot.
Got it.
But ultimately, yes, the 500 platinum is for whoever wins the wine contest or whatever.
Got it. Okay, I thought this was like a in-crawl kind of thing, so I was a little confused.
Ooh,
as to what was going on.
What is an in-crawl? That sounds...
It's something that we've done back in Baldur's Gate. You just kind of get to it was a big festival, actually. It's very fun. You get to go from a different inn or tavern and try whatever their specialty is, and then whoever had the most votes is like the best place got the pot, and it was so awesome.
That sounds
And
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was. Since I figured Waterdeep, Baldur's Gate, both big cities probably did a similar thing. So
Maybe someday we could do our own. We could organize a pub crawl. That sounds incredible.
Pub, even better.
I've been known to crawl in and out of a few pubs myself.
I'm sure Six has been kicked out of many establishments all over the Sword Coast.
I have not always. Sometimes I leave of my own volition. Who said that? Who am I talking to?
There is a voice. Six has wares if you are interested. So Hammond, like listening to you all talk amongst each other, Hammond kind of clears his throat for a moment. So understand that you will, on top of what you are going to be paid in drink prices and other such things that you would normally make here, we have also deigned it to give you a goodly purse of 100 platinum pieces for doing this. So don't screw this up. Follow the rules. The gods, as you are so questioning, come from the nobility's line themselves. It's two individuals, very trustworthy, and they will be standing by the safe and making sure that no one steals it.
Understood. I'm sorry for my my skepticism.
That's quite all right. Also understand this, if that money goes missing, I'm pretty sure that you will be held personally responsible. So I hope that you have 5,000 gold pieces laying around somewhere, or this is going to be a very interesting situation. But I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. Right? Good. Come, Ginny! And he kind of like spins on his heels and clops off. And of course, Ginny is running, writing everything as the door opens, and Ginny just manages to like slip out, and you see the ink just kind of hanging there, spinning in the air, and you see her hand just kind of like flick out like in the crack of the door, grab the inkwell, and just kind of shoot back out.
Do we want to get the sommelier together tomorrow? Or I wouldn't mind going. Maybe Six would like to come along. We don't need all of us, right, to go pick up one guy.
I think that this is something that Asche and I can handle.
I just see Megan nodding. Nodding. Yes. Somebody else go do that.
Maybe while we are doing this, perhaps, maybe Bevyn and Anna, you should try to see, maybe you could try to break into our safe. Just, to make sure that it can't be broken into, or how easy is it to get to be broken into? What are some things that you would do to it? I don't know. This is not my area of expertise, but that he seems to be very emphatic that we do not want to lose this money. And in my experience, when somebody keeps talking about something like that, it is very much a concern of theirs.
But I feel like since we already know how to get into the safe, it kind of defeats the purpose.
Pretend you don't know how to get into it. If you don't know the combination or have the key, there are guards standing there. How would you get into the safe? Again, I don't know. This is not my area of expertise.
No. I like it. I think that's a great idea. That sounds like a lot of fun. I bet it will take me 4 minutes to get in and out.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to write in something on a piece of paper. I will put it into the safe. And I will know that you have succeeded when you have this piece of paper. And I'm going to pull out one of my paper birds, just not set it to fly. And I'm going to kind of pull it over to me, and I kind of do that thing where I start to write, and then I turn away from Anna and start to write something down on the piece of paper. And wait a minute. How do I get into the safe? Bevyn, I need you to open the safe for me.
Wait,
see,
somebody
this is
has a
not
key,
my
right?
area of expertise. This is why I need you to see.
I just walk to the safe and, well, I mean, I guess I got to go upstairs, don't I? So I'll go up to the safe and run the combination and open the door.
Yeah, I'm assuming that everyone would have like gone upstairs, check this out. Most notably, Anna, who is probably now sizing up the safe. Like, that safe's getting sized up. You're getting into this. You got this. You know, you're feeling it. You're feeling excited. And I'm excited for you to use up all those domain dice, because it might take all of them.
And Bevyn, maybe you could time her, unless you want to give it a shot yourself.
I'm thinking more that I'll see if I can add any challenge to Anna here.
Oh, just
Might be a
like the
chance
guy
to-
said, he was going to have guards, right? Pretend to be the guard.
I've got some ideas.
So in the meantime, you still have the rest of the afternoon and the evening, unless you want to advance time to the next day. Is there any place you want to go, or anything you want to do in particular?
I don't mind going to the next day. Or I'm open to what you guys want to do.
So
you still were to go to the theater. There was the Lightsinger Theater in. Give me 1 second here. In the dock ward.
what's in the
What
dock
did we-
ward?
Yeah, what's out there?
And we were going to give the stone to the person.
Oh, jeez, sorry.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't wait too long for that. She's kind of expecting us,
But the stone's a fake, right?
right? But we're gonna play it out and see what happens.
Oh, I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, I'll go along with you guys, but that makes me nervous.
I kind of want to see what happens too.
All right, I'll follow along. And
Well, we would definitely. I would definitely like to have you there, because if things go south, you can spit fire from your hands. We've seen that.
I can, and I think Asche would be in just like a flourish of showmanship, be like, and just fire popping out for a second.
You know, I can do that too. And I snap my fingers, and one of the candles sort of lights up like a little firework.
I've never tried that one before. You'll have to show me again later. But yeah, let's. I'll absolutely come along with you guys.
Also, as a side note, this is specifically for Megan. I have given Mike privately what is written on the note. So 6 will only know that you have succeeded when you show that note. It's in a private message to you, Mike.
Don't make that face.
I'm not giving her that note. That's horrible. Oh my god, you're a monster.
6, what did you write?
Don't listen to Mike. It's not that bad.
Or listen to me. Probably don't. All right. So now you'll forgive me because I made an error because I got it confused with the other theater. This is the Seven Masks Theater that you were going to, not the Lightsinger Theater, which is the fancy theater in the Castle Ward. This is the theater for those of Waterdeep citizens who are not extremely wealthy or but it is down in the Dock Ward. It is on Fish Street and Ship Street, kind of in kind of a it looks actually kind of made up like a ship's prow as you get there, and it does take some time to get there. How do you want to get there? You guys want to walk, or do you want to take a carriage? Free teleportation scroll. I'm just kidding. You gotta pay.
Free? Yes, thank you.
You gotta pay so much money. But
Probably a carriage.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So deduct 5 silver pieces. You call the Waterdavian Uber, who very quickly sends a carriage, and you make your way in. It's probably about 20 or 30 minutes, or excuse me, about 20 minutes, as Snail Street kind of lives up to its name as you head down with kind of a large group of people kind of wandering in and out, many different sailors and everyone else. A lot of people coming into Waterdeep through its harbors. Lots of merchants and bringing in tons of food and lots of other kind of items to keep over the upcoming very cold winter. Making your way there, you see again this kind of large, looks like a large prow, or basically someone took the bow of a ship and basically just jammed it into a corner of a group of buildings. However, the kind of front part of the prow has been like cut out, and it's kind of like it's the kind of entrance into what looks to be this large theater area. And you also see 7 masks kind of hung up on the on like 3 going one side, 3 going another side, and then kind of like this really nice kind of golden, but it's painted kind of mask in the front, and just says 7 Masks Theater.
Oh wow, 6. Have you ever gotten a performance in place like this? I don't think Asche is not accustomed to theater.
In terms of quality of theater, what tier is this?
So sailors and sailor captains get in free, and it holds the kind of plays that distinguished society would not. A lot of body plays.
Oh yes, I have absolutely played in these kind of theater many times. There's a whole series of we call them vignettes that I have performed with a troupe that go over very well with the sailors, but they are not for necessarily delicate ears, I should say. But yes, I'm quite familiar with these establishments. Would I have ever performed in this theater in particular?
Roll me a straight D20. Roll me a D20 with disadvantage.
Well, that went downhill real quick.
Yeah, I know, right?
So that's a 15 and a 19. So a 15 on the D20.
I would say that you may have performed here once before and realized that though you've been in some tough places, you've been in some rough bars or whatnot, you find that sometimes a lot of the sailors or captains or both tend to get a little rowdy when they drink and watch performing arts. And if they really, really dislike a cast member, they tend to be on the receiving end of clay jars of booze, bottles, the odd fish. Maybe that part wasn't so bad for you. And a few rotten vegetables and fruits.
I have performed here at the Seven Masks one time. It was quite an experience, I'll tell you this. I'll just say, as I kind of look around, they are a discerning audience. They know what they like and they know what they don't like.
Well, it must have been a little rough.
I don't think you will have too much to worry about if you don't get up on stage.
Yep, not gonna happen. But 6, since you're familiar with the place, do you have any idea where the lady would be in here?
Well, if she... You know what, I don't. I'm not entirely sure that why the lady would be in here to begin with.
That is a good point. Like, seems cool and all, but she's important as she seems. I guess being by the docks wouldn't really be the best place, right?
Unless she is trying to keep a low profile, not to be noticed, then she would go where one would. Maybe she is trying to blend in. So, how crowded is this place right now?
The doors are closed. No one's around.
Could we hear if maybe they're doing like a dress rehearsal inside? Since it is the afternoon. I'm sure they got an evening show.
If you can put your ear up to the door if you want. I mean, there are glass doors, but like there are no lights on or anything. You don't see anyone around. Like it just seems kind of closed off. But I mean, if you put your ear to the door, perhaps maybe you can.
All right. I'd want to do that.
Sure. So make me a perception check.
All right. There's my dice. Hey, I got a 20
What?
on my tiny little dice. Look how tiny it is.
Those things were so adorable. Yeah. No, it would just be us sitting there saying enhance.
I know, right? I know they're probably really poorly weighted, but I just want to use them.
What?
They're so cute.
They're awesome. Of course they are. No, yes. So, listening in, you hear a lot of things. You hear many things at once, but you're able to pick everything up. You can hear what sounds to be murmuring, but definitely someone rehearsing their lines. And by the echo of it, you can definitely tell that they're definitely like doing some type of a rehearsal. You also hear what sounds to be some arguing, kind of off to the side, but like not raised, but it's like when you're trying to argue at dinner and you're out at a restaurant and you're like you're trying to get your point across, but you don't want to make a scene, kind of one of those things. That's the kind of argument you can kind of hear a bit closer to you. And that's essentially it.
All right. Well, there's definitely some people in there. Maybe, I'm sure if we knock on the front door, they're just going to ignore it. Maybe tap on a window, or there must be another door, right?
I look over to Anna And I'd kind of give you a startled look, Anna. Like, I would have thought you were finding a way in the back door by now.
Sorry, I got distracted. Sorry. Right, way in the back. Got it. On it. And she's going to go and try and investigate.
Your investigation, which you don't even need to roll for, you find a backstage entrance. Getting your kind of thieves' tools out and getting ready, kind of looking around, making sure you kind of get your picks in there, kind of ready to kind of do it. But you know that you have to kind of turn the knob just a little bit to try and engage the locking mechanism to make it a bit tighter. But then as you kind of do it with your hand, you realize that this door is not locked. But of course, you're not one to not let an opportunity of taking credit where it's due goes. So you putting your lock picks back, you realize that it is totally unlocked and you can just walk right in.
Right. Got it unlocked. Already. So fast.
Good job, Anna. That's awesome. So 6. I mean, I'm sure some of them might recognize you. You should probably go in first instead of any of us strangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.
That
Show how many people
like,
you know.
That sounds like a really good idea. You know, it's entirely possible that I am remembered so well that I will create a bit of a commotion from them being surprised to see me and so happy to see me. So maybe one of you should go in first to sort of be a buffer.
No.
I think that would be a perfect distraction if I would ever see one.
You know, Bevyn, you look like you want to go in first.
Bevyn just kind of sighs heavily. And I just march past and walk in the door.
As soon as you walk in, you see a hallway, rather long hallway, but you see a bunch of doors, like all the way down. You see people walking in and out and moving past, and everyone seems to be very, very busy trying to get a whole bunch of things kind of ready for the play. You see a few people seem to like walk right past you without even noticing. You can hear some kind of raised voices coming from the kind of to your left. You see what looks to be steps going up and some curtains that are separating whatever room beyond. As you look down the hallway, probably another 20 feet, 30 feet, you see another set of curtains, and so on and so forth every 20 or 30 feet, straight down until it looks like it ends into an open, like the whole corridor ends into an open doorway into some kind of a room. And on your left-hand side, you see, on your left-hand side, you see a bunch of doors, which I'm not going to make you do an intelligence check. You can probably imagine those would be some kind of dressing rooms and other closets and stuff. And the right-hand side are these curtains going straight down.
Can we see or hear anybody that looks like they're from the theater at all nearby? Is there anybody milling about?
There's a few people that are kind of moving around. They look like they're picking up, they're lifting up boxes and putting them down, and they're, kind of rushing around they look to be in like kind of the final preparations of getting this show on the road, or at least getting the show actually started. So it's probably, it's definitely a good call by Asche that it's probably going to be an evening performance. So they're making sure that everything is perfect. You can probably yell at someone and flag it down.
Excuse me.
A young woman kind of stops for a moment. She appears to be a half elf. woman. Her hair is kind of pulled back into like a very tight bun, but she has kind of like this one like kind of thin strand that's kind of like right in front of her face. She has like a kind of white shirt sleeves, kind of just folded up, and she has like a kind of a pair, what looks to be a pair of slacks that have also been folded up. She's wearing like kind of simple shoes. She looks at you. So I'm so. Can I help you?
Right. So this would probably sound a little odd, but we're looking for someone. Well, we're looking for the open lady, Laurel Silverhand. Wouldn't happen to see her around here, would you?
Follow me. And she turns around and she begins to walk.
I follow her.
All right. How about the rest of you? You following?
I can't believe that actually worked.
Yes.
I think Anna would give Ash like just this weird like look.
What? What?
I thought she would laugh in our face, to be honest. So
Yeah,
be
yeah.
careful.
Don't worry, we're here to back you up then.
So she takes you all the way down the corridor, all the way to the very end, and just before you kind of enter what looks to be enters what, I don't know what you can call it, like a green room, the place where there's some couches and there's some stained rugs, and the walls are actually covered in green paint. And Six, you would know this is the place where actors are kind of sit here and wait out before they go on stage, and just so they can kind of gather themselves before they go. The young woman turns, walks down just like a few steps, and then like immediately like straight on through 15 feet ahead, opens up a door. And as she goes in, you kind of take in this whole auditorium kind of seating, and it just looks incredible. There's always a small sense of awe when you walk into a theater with its massive ceiling and these kind of individual chairs that are actually up in an auditorium style where you have different rows and higher rows as the stairs go up. The chairs don't seem to be extremely comfortable. They're mostly made of wood, and they have a little bit of padding in the back. The chairs that you picked out were so much better. But she walks along the very front row. You can hear now to your right, you see this woman, must be in her 70s. She is bedecked in this what looks to be large and ostentatious blue wig with like many curls and other such things coming out, and she is standing there what looks to be dressed as a madam, or at least some sort of a fest hall or other tavern owner. She appears rather buxom, and she's kind of like she seems to be reciting some lines to this hapless, and especially to you, Six. You realize just how awful this actor is who's trying. She is acting circles around him, and rightfully so, because you know this woman quite well. Her name is Westra Multimer, and she is not only the play's leading lady, but she has been a Waterdavian treasure, one of the great actresses of the Sword Coast, and surprisingly, she is here doing this, whatever this play is. The young woman leads you now to what looks to be a rather burly large man who is sitting in one of these chairs. He is smoking a pipe, and he has this very impressive braided mustache that goes and gets and braids down into his goatee, which is then braided further at the very bottom into a single knot. The whole thing actually looks quite dwarven, but works very well on him. Excuse me, sir. These people are here to see you. And then she kind of just wanders off very, very quickly. And that's where we're going to take a break. You're probably not going to die, but if you do, remember, you'll die well. Thank you, everyone, for joining us so far this evening. We're going to take a little bit of time and just relax. And yeah, we'll be back in about, 45 minutes. No? 5 minutes. 2 minutes? 10 minutes. 17 minutes.
Oh my God, Mike.
267,000 nanoseconds. I'll stop now.
All right, we will take a quick 10-minute break. Stick around. There's some wonderful promotions and advertisements during the break. And of course, in 10 minutes, we will be back. Hey, Internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportions. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place in the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V and I have the YouTube channel The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharm Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and a high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure Mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure Mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Cryforth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Cryforth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Kryphoth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Asche elves, the forsaken humans, the primordial incarnate, the proud orcs, the reptilian Suri, or the infernal-blooded tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Broodhammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Kryphoth are not heroes. In Kryphoth, it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
And we're back. This is Storm King's Thunder, right?
Yes.
Right.
I'm a giant.
Hey, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Maybe you drop the jaw a little bit, kind of be a little more slack.
I'm a giant named Frostbeard.
I believe that. I believe that 100%.
I'm a giant named 6 Days into Winter.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. That's too much.
That's what 6 is going to turn into. That'll be his final act.
I'm a giant bard.
It's possible. It's possible. So this individual kind of stands up, and standing up, he's quite tall. He seems to tower over all of you. Please, come sit down. My name is Runkan Mister, and it is a pleasure to meet you. We seem to have much to discuss. Yes. And he sits back down while the actors continue. I don't even know what they're trying to do, but they're most certainly trying to get through this scene. So, I know that you have visited, or you have been visited by Lero Silverhand. I heard that you had spoken in the alley. Fortunately for you, I speak for her as she is not here. She is a very busy person, as you can well imagine. So, do you have the stone?
I'm sorry. So we talked with Lady Lero Silverhand, and she asked us to meet her at this theater. Not some big scary dude. So
I am a member of the... Dang. Excuse me for a second here. I work closely with the Lord's Alliance, and I will speak for her. I can speak on her behalf. You cannot expect the open lady of Waterdeep to be hanging around the theater waiting for you to finally show up. I think, if memory serves me correctly, you are at least 2 days late.
I'd like to roll perception and see if I can figure out if he's on the level.
Okay, and that would be an insight.
Insight.
Yeah.
17.
He seems to be telling the truth. I mean, doesn't appear to be lying.
So let's say that I have the thing that we went to find. What do we do with it next?
Well, you could give it to me so I can ensure its authenticity. And then after that, what the lady had mentioned as some sort of reward for you would be given to you, I assume.
So we give it to you, and you give it to her, and you give me money?
Whatever the reward is, I am sure that we can come to some sort of an arrangement.
We seem to be talking a lot of circles around each other here. I'm not too sure that I like what you're laying out for me. I'm sorry, mister, but when the open lady at Waterdeep asked me to do something for her, I don't want to turn it over to somebody just because he says he knows her.
He kind of glances left and right. I do not normally share this with just anyone. And he kind of lifts one of his large arms and pulls out what looks to be a brooch pin. It is a symbol of at least what many of you have seen as the Lord's Alliance. It is a crown in a four checked brooch, and the it's kind of like 2 red and 2 kind of like broken up yellow symbols.
Do we recognize it as legit? I mean, is it?
You can make a perception check.
I think Anna would look as well to see if.
Yeah, go for it. Same thing.
14.
14.
No, wait, you said perception?
Yeah.
15.
15. Okay.
16 for 6.
Okay.
25.
So, Bevyn, you're not 100% sure. Like, it looks authentic, but you may not be sure. 6, it definitely looks authentic. And as far as you know, Anna, you've actually stolen, pickpocketed a member of the Lord's Alliance before, and you've like nicked that exact looking brooch. Like that is an exact brooch from a member of the Lord's Alliance.
So I think Anna I can imagine that she would be standing next to Bevyn, and she wants to just kind of tap against his leg in Thieves' Cant, sleight of hand, hopefully. She's going to try and do that so that he doesn't see that she thinks it's real.
Sure. Yeah, make me a sleight of hand check. Yeah.
So, 15. That's a 21.
Yeah, and with his 5 perception, he does not notice that at all. So you get the message, Bevyn.
6. Let me show them on.
I look confused for a moment, forgetting that I have it. Oh, yes. I make a show of looking around to see if anybody is looking. I pull it out from behind my cloak.
Wait, are you actually looking? Like, are you making like a player determined check?
I'm literally looking. Yes, I'm looking to see if anybody's watching us.
And make me a perception check.
With a 6 on the die, that is a 9.
Nah, you don't see nothing.
Because I'm not really looking, I'm just I'm doing an actor's look. Like making a show of looking. And then I pull it around and just slightly reveal it through my hands. Like this to him.
And he holds out.
I believe this is what you are looking for.
And he holds out a big meaty palm, meaty hand for you to place it in there.
As 6 hands it over to him, I am watching this guy very closely. I want to watch his face. I want to look for any kind of reaction.
Sure. So he takes it in his hand. Make me an insight check.
Domain die. 20.
Dirty?
Dirty, yes.
Okay. His eyes do go wide for a moment, but just a moment. As he takes it in his hand and he holds it, and he kind of puts it, kind of between his index finger and his thumb, looking at it. Well, this is a pretty stone, but it is not the stone. And unfortunately, unless you are willing to speak to Fenris Stormcastle himself, we still need the stone.
If I may, is there any particular part of it that would indicate that it's like the real stone? Just so if we hopefully do come across it, we won't be coming here to present you a false item again.
It has 3 marks on it, much like this one here, but it is very different. I will tell you this. Once you hold the stone of Golor, and as soon as he says Golor, his voice kind of lowers. Once you hold the stone of Golor in your hand, you will know. You will know that you are holding the real one.
So here's what I'd like to know. We got sent on a goose chase to a very specific spot at a very specific time to find a very specific thing. And when we found it, it turns out to be fake. Can you tell us why that might be?
Well, it would appear that Fenris Stormcastle was a little bit smarter than we had thought, a bit more craftier in his villainous ways. He must have hidden it somewhere else. And we are going to have to speak to them. Or rather, you will need to speak to him.
Why would he even give us any hint of where this thing is?
Well, the four of you seem to be rather persuasive, and not at all rather handsome. And he looks directly at Six when he says that. Surely the four of you can convince such a interesting little fellow to give up the secrets of this place.
Are you up to it, Six?
Am I up to it? When it comes to persuasion and getting my way, I have a way with words and people and things and getting them.
Where would we happen to find this? I'm sorry, what was his name again? I'm from out of town.
That is terrible. That's the worst excuse ever. I'm from out of town. I don't remember his name.
Wait a minute.
I'm sorry. I got preoccupied by my own little in-house tobacco.
No, that's fair. And she's so cute. His name is Fenris Stormcastle.
Thank you.
And you can find him in jail.
Oh, shoot. All right.
He is currently being held in the courthouse in the Castle District. He was arrested for theft, and he is going to face the judgment of a magister. No doubt he hid the stone much better before his capture. So if you speak to him right away, you'll definitely need to devise some sort of ruse to get close to Fenris. Obviously, as the Lady Silverhand would tell you as well, no violence, or you will find yourself locked up beside him, or worse. So I would suggest that it would be in your benefit to find this courthouse, speak to Fenris, and see what you can do.
That seems easy enough.
And then once you find where it is, you can go get it.
Do we just bring it back here to you?
We shall see. It would be advisable, but I'm sure that one of Lady Silverhand's close advisors will guide you and ensure that you are able to deliver the stone as promised.
Since, thank you for your time. Guess we'll go try and track down this Fenris person.
Certainly. That would be very good. And I wish you all of the luck in the world. Now, if you'll excuse me, and he kind of gestures a huge hand toward the stage. I apparently have a play to get ready for.
Appreciate your time. Perhaps we'll speak again soon.
I hope so.
And break a leg.
Break a leg, stab somebody, whatever gets the job done.
6, I thought you would tell people good luck.
You'll never wish an actor good luck.
I dodged an arrow there. So, Bev and Anna, feel like this, maybe you guys would be able to sneak into that jail?
This I would like to see. Anna and Bev sneaking into jail. I might be able to help with this. I have an idea. We should perhaps go. That is not my idea. I'm just saying perhaps we should go and we'll talk about this on the way.
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
I have a couple ideas. I am 100% in favor of Anna and Bevyn breaking in to talk to this Fenris. and perhaps I can assist. I could disguise myself and pretend to be sort of I believe they are called a magistrate or a lawyer, to try and represent Fenris and get in that way. And it will either allow me to get in and speak to him directly, or it will provide an adequate distraction to allow you to sneak in and speak to him indirectly, or, through whatever ways you do. Or one of us could always get ourselves arrested and put into the jail with him. But I think that is a bit of a last resort.
Yeah, if I ever was to find my guild to see if that I was brought to jail, even as just a lie, that wouldn't do well for me.
I mean, 6, you could just climb up some more temples, right?
I would. That only got me a piece of paper, an edict.
Right, but if you were like a serial temple climber, maybe they would.
But we only need a few minutes with this Fenris. We don't need like a 10-day or an entire month or a year. I don't know that you could get on without me for that long.
I don't know. It sounds pretty peaceful.
There was no need for you to respond to that. So what do you think, Bevyn? You think this? I can go in as a lawyer, and you can try to sneak in to talk to him. Does this make sense to you?
I think we've got a couple of options. I think bribery is always something that's worked pretty well getting into.
I tell you what, you get caught trying to bribe an official, you're going to end up in that prison for a good many years.
Yeah, officials, yes. Guards don't make much money, though. But I tend to like your idea best. I think you do what you do, and they won't be paying attention to Anna when she does what she does.
Ooh, I could be your assistant and maybe accidentally light something on fire. Maybe not a great idea.
If it comes down to it, I guess. Yes, I played a magistrate once in a performance of a courtroom drama. I played a gentleman by the name of Atticus Finch. The play was not quite what I thought it would be. There was something about killing mockingbirds. There were no mockingbirds whatsoever. It was entirely a courtroom drama. I sort of locked into this one.
That sounds disappointing.
It turned out to be a pretty good role.
But
you can be my assistant, and I will call you Scout.
Scout. All right. It's an unusual name, but that's okay.
Well, either that or it's I call you Boo.
Scout.
What do you say we go check this place out first?
Yes.
I'm just watching Mike's face the whole time.
Oh, you guy with the...
You break my fourth wall, I hit you with puns and pop culture references.
And that's fair. So, you're going to go check out the courthouse?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The walk actually isn't that bad, to be perfectly honest. It's actually very near to Pirgaren's palace and Agaren's tower. It is right along, basically, as you guys walk up Snail Street. You don't even need to take carriage unless you want to get there in like 25 seconds, 30 seconds. No? Okay. Yeah, enjoy the fresh air. and the wind and the cold as you make your way to up Snail Street, up to Waterdeep Way, and you go west along Waterdeep Way until you see the famed Agaron's Tower, which is an old, very old, huge wizard's tower that kind of is plunked right in the middle of the Street of Skills or Silks, excuse me, and Waterdeep Way in that kind of corner right there. You managed to make it in around that area into the courthouse. Courthouse looks like an older brick building, very dark red, almost black brick, accentuated by white limestone corners and corbels, which is hard to say. So there you go. You also see what looks to be 4 very nice looking Doric columns, also done in what looks to be white marble, go around, and 2 very large dark wood doors that are currently open.
So do we, I guess I want to know, what do I know about what it takes to get in? Like, who would be allowed in to speak with a prisoner?
I won't even, you don't even need to make a roll for this, because it's basically anyone can go in to speak to a magister about anything. Lawyers, or in this case, barristers, are it's not a very common thing. Generally, a noble will retain a barrister, but magistrates usually people go in to speak to a magistrate about, or at least set up an appointment with a magistrate to do things like transfer of deeds and the plethora of other things, like maybe paying off a fine, or like wills, and basically a lot of civic court kind of cases. Now magistrates do handle criminal cases as well, but those are generally in either a closed session or something that's not kind of just open to anyone. Although when the doors are open, anyone can go in and just either request a meeting with the magistrate, or one of the kind of higher clerks, or sometimes very bored people can sit in on court sessions. I don't know why. Doesn't seem very exciting at all. Probably can't even bring popcorn in there. It's dumb. Anyway, so yeah, that's what you know about most of the courthouses in Waterdeep. Obviously, if it's a very high court or a very high profile case, generally it would be closed to the public.
So would we have a reasonable expectation that 6 could get in to speak with this prisoner as a barrister / solicitor? Potentially.
It's entirely possible. You're not 100% sure. I'll tell you what, you can make me an intelligence check.
16.
From that roll, there's not a lot of tabaxi barristers, if any. It's going to be really interesting seeing an ostentatious tabaxi roll up and claim to speak to a criminal that's under arrest and being held in jail. It could work.
Bevyn, I can see a bit of skepticism on your face. But I must remind you, I am an actor. I am trained in the ways of theater.
So, here's my thought. As we have been walking towards this building, I will have been talking to Anna in Thieves' Cant the whole time. that my thought is that we go into this building. 6 needs to go in doing what 6 does, pretending to be this lawyer, wanting to go back and talk to this guy. He's going to do what 6 does and make a big distraction. And Anna and I are going to try to slip in and find a route, preferably Anna, because she's better at stealthing. But see if we can find our way back to the cells. Because I'm going to guess there's no way for us to climb in from the outside of this place. I'm going to guess it's sheer walls and parapets and the whatnots. There it is.
Huh?
Oh, you were muted for a second there. I couldn't hear you.
Oh. See, that's a weird thing. You know what? I keep pushing my mute button, and it's like I got to push it like 2 times. It's like the computer wants me to shut up, and I don't blame it. So, yeah, I mean, the courthouse isn't very tall. It really is like just basically like one floor with just like a kind of domed roof. There doesn't seem to be very many kind of like areas for you to climb into. I mean, there looks to be a couple of like some decorative windows. You might be able to kind of sneak in or something to that effect inside. But you do know that this place is kind of built on a hill. So the kind of backside area, you know, that's a lot of times where it looks to be like they'll send their wagon out to transport prisoners or bring in prisoners. There's a wagon area behind, kind of like at the bottom of the hill.
So Anna, maybe that's the best way for us to get in.
So would 6 go? So there's like that front door, and then there's that bottom door where the
it's kind of like a garage basically. It's like two doors that are like just kind of swing open, and then whatever carriage needs to go.
And I think Anna would respond, would 6 cause a distraction at the front door or the carriages? Because if it's at the front door, that would have to be an awfully big distraction.
It is 6. What?
Maybe even for 6.
Carriages are probably the right call.
I mean, we could make a big distraction. I'd rather not promote the idea of Ganassi being inherently dangerous, but like, we're really desperate to get in. They could do things.
I think again you are underestimating my ability as an actor. My mere presence in this role that I am going to be performing will draw the spotlight to myself naturally. I will gain the attention of those inside, demanding to see what is his name again? Fenris something?
Fenris Stormcastle.
Demanding to see Mr. Stormcastle. And regardless of the way, they are either going to allow me to go see him and then mission accomplished, or at least part way, or they are not going to allow me, in which I will insist adamantly. Why don't you give me a moment? Asche.
Yes.
I do not think it would be a good idea for you to, burn things, as you say. I do not want you to be painted in a bad light, and quite frankly, I don't really know how good of an actress you are. So, you be you.
Okay.
But you are going to pretend that you are my assistant, and we'll call you...
You said scout. We could just stick with that.
let's call you Penelope.
Penelope.
Now, I need just one moment. Is there an alleyway or something nearby that I can disappear into for a minute?
There totally is. So, just to let you know, so yes, because I just needed to kind of double check. Impersonating an official is a crime. So is breaking and enter, and I mean all that other stuff. But just to let you know, it is a fairly serious crime. So this is my one and only time as a GM I will ever say this in this campaign. But if you are sure, and you got this, right on. Let's make it happen. But just letting you know.
Impersonating an official is could do without the whipping, but I am confident in my ability to perform. So, I'm going to disappear for just a moment into an alleyway.
All right.
And I am going to use Disguise Self. I'm going to cast Disguise Self on myself. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself, I'm still going to look like a tabaxi, but I'm going to have all black fur with white on my chin and on my front and on my paws. I'm going to make myself appear about 6 inches shorter and about 100 pounds heavier. And I'm going to make my clothing look like those of the barristers I see going in and out with the fancy cloaks. I've got a top hat to help hide the fact that I'm 6 inches shorter. I've got the vest and the suit and all of that stuff, but it all looks slightly worn. Like, not full, rich nobility. Just everything is slightly worn. There's scuffing on the shoes, scuffing on, maybe a patch on the cloak, things like that. Just as a reminder, I have the actor feat, which also gives me advantage on performance and deception checks when trying to pass myself off as a different person.
Perfect.
I can also mimic the speech, although I'm just going to use my acting ability to change my voice. I'm also going to take just a moment while I'm casting this, and I'm going to write a few notes on a piece of paper that just say, real quick, I'm just going to make up some names. I'm going to write Dramatis Personae and a handful of names with some names next to them. One of the names that I'm going to put next to a female name is, I'm going to write Westra Multimer and a question mark next to it. And I'm jotting a few notes down to make this piece of paper look like it's something a playwright would have while working on a play. I'm just going to tuck it in an inside pocket. And so a moment later, the three of you would see out of the alley I walked into this sort of black furred with white on the front, overweight tabaxi come walking up. And he walks directly up to you, Asche, and says,
"Oh, yes, there you are, Penelope. I have been looking for you. We have an appointment in the courthouse. We must go right away."
And then I'll just kind of look to you and wink and go, "It's me, Zeeks."
Oh my god. At first she wants to exclaim, and then she whispers, "I didn't know this would look so convincing. I had no clue. That's so cool."
Okay, remember, You are Penelope. You are my assistant. Do not talk unless talk to. And just write down a bunch of things. Like you are writing down what I am saying.
Oh, we're doing this right now.
There's no time like the present. I mean, yes, we have an important meeting. If you will, and I doff my top hat to Bevyn, and pardon me, madam. Pardon me, sir. We have important business to tend to.
Wait, sir. Can I, yes, it's okay. Asche, she's trying to act a little more subservient. Could I just help, like, mend that patch? I have a little spell I could do just to maybe mend some of those little trappings.
No, it is part of the rules. I don't want to look like I am too fancy. My intention is that I am, just follow my lead.
Okay.
And I am going to march right to the courthouse and in the front door.
Meanwhile, I think Anna's going to start heading to the back door.
All right.
Yeah, same for Bevyn. Gonna just try and get close and look for an opportunity.
Sure.
What do we see at the back door? Like, how's it guarded?
Yeah, as you make your way down, you see two guards standing by what looks to be a smaller door before the kind of like carriage doors. It seems to be a like small kind of back, like kind of like a back door in, or some type of you don't know. And as you keep walking past, the two double doors come into view. They appear to be what looks to be two just standard two barn doors on a hinge, made out of what looks to be dark wood, and dark wood you would know is rather strong, so it's not, you can't just take an axe to it and just kind of open it up. And yeah, you can see that it is what it is. You also see, of course, a lot of like horse and wagon tracks leading from it and leading into the area.
How long would it take for Bevyn and Anna to potentially get down there and start doing stuff?
Well, I mean, as far as like time goes,
yeah,
like as a DM would I guess I would put it like things can happen all at the same time.
All right.
So I mean,
so that they're going. It's gonna happen.
This is the part in the movie where it goes split screen periodically and cuts rapidly back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's like kind of Ocean's 11, where two groups of people in two different areas are finishing each other's sentences, but like in totally different conversations.
I was kind of hoping as I narrated everything, we would just cut to, we're done, we succeeded, like in the great heist movies.
Yeah, no.
All
What's
right.
gonna happen? So more importantly, who's doing what first right now? So I know you two, the two of you, Asche and Six, walked up the courthouse steps. You've walked through the two doors that are flanked on either side by guards that seem to be holding halberds. As you walk in, fireball. As you walk in, what you see before you are two rows of benches, both on either side of the wall. They're wooden benches. And then directly in front, kind of not really blocking the way, but kind of blocking the way, you see right in the center of this large room, you see what looks to be a reception desk. Behind the reception desk, about 10 feet behind, you see what looks to be 2 doors.
So there's a desk there with somebody at it? Is that what you said?
There's a receptionist sitting there. You see about 1 or 2 people kind of sitting on the benches. Most of them are reading the Waterdeep newspaper.
I will approach the receptionist.
All right. As you approach the receptionist, Anna and Bevyn, what do you want to do right now? The door's standing right before you. What's your game plan?
So there's 2 guards standing in front of the door.
There were 2 guards. There were 2 guards standing, probably a good 50 feet behind you now, at a small little door that seems like another little back door.
Okay. I think I just want to sit and watch for a few minutes and see if what 6 is up to has any effect on these guards. See if we can have any chance of getting in the door.
So in that small back door?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not going to worry about the carriage doors?
Not
unless there's a carriage.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the doors are closed, so I mean, there could be a carriage on the back end. You don't know.
I'm thinking more like if we were to see something heading in, it'd be one thing, but.
I think also in the meantime, Anna is going to be looking around to see if there's any kind of like sewer grate or anything like that that might look a little bit less cared for or
Sure
looked at.
No worries. Yeah, go ahead and make me I guess an investigation check. And in the meantime, you see a receptionist 6 in sitting at this desk. They look like they're just doing their paperwork, not really looking up from you, even though some of the people sitting around obviously have noticed that you there. They look up from their papers like very briefly and then go back to reading.
Excuse me.
You're excused. And he's not looking up at you. He's just continuously doing like writing something.
My apologies, my good man. I am Barrister Alphonse de Laurentiis Esquire. Recently, having been passing the bar and being appointed a barrister, I have come to seek an audience with my first client, Fenris Stormcastle. I do believe he's awaiting a meeting with me.
Make me a deception check.
All right, and I do so.
Disadvantage. No, I'm just kidding.
I do so with advantage because of my actor sheet. This is deception.
Yeah.
I have a +7 to deception. I'm gonna use a domain die because that's a 2 and a 4.
Ouch.
So let's see.
Good. Use them all.
It's an 11 total because I rolled another 4.
Well, your lordship, I imagine you passed many bars, taverns, and inns to get here, and here you are. However, anyone who does wish to speak to a prisoner as a visitor does so after a 10-day visit and has to make a meeting, a personal meeting with the Magister. And your meeting could be coming up. I don't know. And he kind of shuffles some paperwork to make it look like he's looking for something. Probably about tomorrow. Yes, high noon tomorrow. He just kind of stares at you.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, you've been doing plenty of that, and I don't have a feeling you're going to be stopping anytime soon. What is it, barrister?
Are you a fan of the theater?
He kind of cocks an eyebrow. How do you mean?
Oh, dramas, acting, escapism into other worlds from your mundane life.
I know what the theater is. Why?
Well, it seems that you have already seen through my ruse. I am not, in fact, a barrister. I am an actor. I am a playwright. I am a performer, and I am a crafter of stories. And I am attempting to immerse myself in the role of a barrister. This Alphonse de Laurentiis, who is an up-and-coming barrister, and I am attempting to get into the headspace of a barrister in the courts. And I have chosen your court and this Fenris Stormcastle, who I know to be a prisoner here, so that I can see what this whole interaction is like, so that I can lend authenticity to the play that I am writing. See here, and I pull out this piece of paper with these names written on them. And I mentioned, see here, for the role of Madame Sylvain, I am considering Vestra Multimer, who I met with just earlier today at the Seven Masks, where she is performing even this very night. And you know, if you were to assist me in what I am attempting to do, I could write your name. In fact, I could write your name right now and give you credits in the playbill.
I see. Well, that sounds all very interesting. But just let me get this straight. So you came in here first pretending to be a barrister, impersonating, if you might say, an official, and you've come here to want to speak to a prisoner. So just to research a role.
I am nothing if not thorough. And I believe that I introduced myself as Barriston.
Right. Gods! And that is where we will end our session.
Aw, crud.
Oh, darn.
Oh, shucky darns.
Well,
Anna knows
I came in here with
disguises
the
never work.
I came in here with the intention to create a distraction.
I mean, trying to, yeah.
One quick thing though. For a role like that, Anna, in your investigation, you don't actually find any sewer grates, unfortunately. And as wandering disciple,
I'm doing that job. Distraction.
Well, you had one job. One job.
I think the DM hates bards and performance.
No, actually, not at all. I love that. But to be fair, you did just say, I'm impersonating an official, this barrister, so I can
I said I'm researching a role.
Well,
I believe were my exact words.
Yeah, but you came in and you said you were a barrister at first. I mean, if you came in and said, I am an actor trying to play a role as a barrister so I can learn more about it, can I speak to the magistrate or another barrister here?
And if anybody had suggested that to Six, his words would be, there's no way that's going to work. My way is the best way. Have you ever seen that video of that distinguished gentleman being arrested? It's an older video. Unhand me now! When is it a crime for a gentleman to enjoy a succulent, delicious meal? Please remove your hand from my penis, sir. I'm telling you, this is an actual video. We're probably going to see a reenactment of this next week.
Get off of me!
Oh, dear.
I didn't see it going that way.
I did not see it going this way either. I'm looking over here going, I've got advantage. I've got a +7 to all charisma checks. How could this possibly go wrong?
Here's the funny thing, though.
Fair enough.
Because you rolled the 11, it's like, he doesn't really. And then when you said, look, I'm not really a barrister. And even when you said you were researching a role, you said, I'm not really a barrister. I'm just playing one. And it's like,
that's all right. 6 has got some
you got some
persuasion and some clever words already loaded for whomever he has to talk to.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how this goes, and hopefully it serves well enough that Bevyn and Anna can get.
You have a week. You have a week to try and dig yourself out of this hole. And hey, you know what? Most people, when they try and dig themselves out of a hole, don't get a week. They don't even get like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But 6 has nothing to worry about. He's got all these lovely friends that are on standby to bail him out.
Yeah, I'm sure they've already disavowed and are going back to nobody's in. Except for Ashe, who's like, what's going on?
And Ashe is... I don't think she's going to be a good actor. Because she's not a bard, first of all. Like, I mean, I like playing her as I have been, but I feel like if she's on the spot and forced, into this position where she has to be somebody else, she's gonna panic a little bit.
You know what? When it comes to role playing, and for anyone watching, when it comes to role playing, in that situation, then that is when in that situation I would say yes, 100%. That's not the way my character would do, or that's not what my character would do. This is how my character would act. In that scenario, I'm like, yes, totally. But if someone's like, yeah, so I'm racist against more than half the party, so I'm just going to be a jerk to everyone. So yeah, like that's when it's like, no, that's promoting toxicity within your gaming group, and don't do that. So yeah.
Right, 6's next words to Ashe will be, light something on fire, light something on fire. Burn it.
I mean, she does have
Jenga rolls for that one.
I still need to talk about it with you, Mike, but I did want her to have like tiny ceramic bombs, essentially.
Like 15,000%. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, for sure.
Like it's a little ball of clay, heats it up in her hand, and the water turns to steam very quickly, so it could explode.
Okay, can I just say that that's badass that Cassie is applying real-world ceramics knowledge to her character?
I've seen all of the accidents in my kiln before. I have learned it is very destructive and not fun to clean up. So... But hopefully it won't have to come to that for being in a jail and surrounded by guards and all that fun stuff.
100% agree.
Well,
yes.
Nobody can accuse 6 of not setting us up for a unique adventure.
Right?
I can't wait for next week. I really want to see where this is going to go.
If ever there was a quantum leap Sam moment, this is it. And in this case, Bevyn is Sam going, oh boy.
Bevyn just has like a little spidey sense going on. Something's going wrong up there.
Well, it's certainly good to be back at this game, Mike.
Same here.
Absolutely.
I love you guys, and it's so nice to run this game for you. And this is again just a snippet of the campaign to come, a mega campaign to come, providing you actually all survive this. So yeah, I'm very stoked, and I want to thank everyone for coming out and watching us. Thanks for all the resubs and all the domain dice, which they used most of, which is also really great. So the more we can bleed them dry, everyone, the better, right? We can just end this quick. So, no more domain dice. I'm just kidding. Keep throwing your domain dice out there. They need all the help they can get. I mean, who goes up to an official and says, "Hey, I'm impersonating an official," right?
An actor.
This is who we're dealing with. So keep those domain dice coming, so we might actually see the end of this campaign.
I think we're gonna need it this next session.
Possibly.
For sure.
But again, you have my thanks. You people everyone in chat, you guys are the real champions. You guys are wonderful. Thank you. It's wonderful to be able to talk when I'm not talking, which is rare because I talk way the heck too much. But yeah, so I'm going to say thanks, and I'll turn it over to Jake, who does all the other talking.
All right. Well, as Mike said, thank you to those of you who tuned in tonight watching with us. We appreciate you in the chat so much, even on quiet nights like tonight, just knowing you're there listening while you're doing other things, as Star 19 said. Thank you to Wandering Disciple, Megan, Star 19, Chesic Student, Dwight. I think that's everybody who resubbed tonight, giving us our extra domain dice. Thank you to everybody for that support. That means a lot for Mini Terrain Domain, and all goes right back into helping make the channel awesome. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night to Dice on Ice on YouTube, where also after a month we will be resuming. In the previous session, we finished, or kind of came through to the end of, I won't say finished, but we came through to the end of the Death House, and not everybody made it out. So that is we love that campaign. Megan is a tremendous, there's a reason they call her the horror queen. Megan is a wonderful horror DM, and just DM in general. So I will be playing in that along with some other amazing players tomorrow night, and then tune in on Thursday night to see Megan once again along with some other great players for episode 0 of season 3, Dawnbringers, the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. That's all I got. We're going to go ahead and end the stream now, the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.